You know what they say, you can pick your friends, you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. Or maybe you just need better friends. Hi everybody. This week we're going to be talking about friendships, specifically the important distinctions between how we form and maintain childhood relationships and adult relationships. This topic has been floating around in my head for a while, particularly because this June marks the 10th year since I graduated high school. I've been spending some time thinking about the friends that I had then and the friends that I have now, and thinking about how much has changed in the way I view friendships and those people. I've been thinking specifically about why I chose to label those relationships as friendships. So how did you make friends when you were a kid? Did you sit next to them on the bus on the way to or from school? Did you have a class together? When you're a child, so much of why you choose to call someone a friend is because of that camaraderie. You're in a similar situation, you're peers, and it makes sense that you would try to form a friendship with someone who's going through the same kinds of things that you are. When you reach adulthood, the definition of a peer becomes slightly more narrowed. You may consider someone a peer if they share professional goals with you, if they share philosophical ideology with you. As an adult, you don't find someone who meets all of these criteria very often. So you tend to cherry pick. You have relationships where you get this kind of intellectual stimulation from this person, this kind of emotional support from this person, and you gather together a group of people that meet all of your needs as best as you can. Again, this is more of a decision process than, oh, I'm in class with them, so they're my friend. And I feel like things have gotten so different with the pervasiveness of social media in our lives. Prior to social media, if you didn't interact with that person on a regular basis, you would have no idea what's happening in their life or what's going on with them, how they are, what developments have occurred. But now, with Facebook, Instagram, etc., you know exactly what that person is up to. All the time, you're getting updates from them, sometimes whether you want it or not. Friendships used to have a sort of natural decay. As someone is no longer a relevant peer in your life, you sort of let them fade. But now, with constant connectivity, there's no real socially acceptable opportunity for a relationship to be allowed to fade. In fact, it can be considered rude to terminate a friendship on something like Facebook because they perceive you as communicating to them, "You are not my friend," which is mean. Nobody wants to be told, "You're not good enough to be someone I consider a friend." But the thing is, with some people, it's like, you know what? I'm okay not knowing how you're doing. We were friends back then, and that was enough. And it feels strange to say that because it sounds really mean, but the reality is, were we ever really people that were going to have meaningful, deep relationships for all eternity because we shared an English class together? And certainly that does happen. Literature may be one of my greater passions. Maybe someone I met in a class that shares those passions with me is someone I want to stay connected with to retain that aspect of my personality and promote growth with it. But more often than not, camaraderie is not friendship. I still have friends from high school with whom I have deep and meaningful relationships, but the majority of them are not people that I would consider a friend. And to me, it doesn't really make sense to label that relationship as a friendship on a platform like Facebook. Because by calling it a friendship, I'm saying, I support you and all that you stand for, and that's just not the case with some of these people. We've grown apart, and that's a healthy, good, normal thing. I'm not saying you should surround yourself with a bunch of yes people. I'm saying that you should allow those influences to be positive ones. A lot of my peers tend to complain that Facebook is a terrible, terrible platform. And in my opinion, they're blaming a platform for their non-friends being not friendly. Unlike Twitter, Facebook is one of the few places where you actually control what audience sees your material and whose material you see, to some extent. So if you're having a bad experience with Facebook, in my opinion, it's because you're having a bad time with people you've chosen to call friends. As a child, we're not really in control of what experiences we share with people around the same age as us. But as adults, we have some power of decision over this. We have control over who we choose to associate with. As an adult, I think it's very important to have friends who support your passions and with whom you can have meaningful dialogue about their passions. If you consider me a friend, You should want to help me to be the best version of myself, and I should feel the same way about you. And if you don't feel that that's possible, then we're not friends. I think that's it for this video. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be back again next week with another video that I hope you'll find interesting. Until then, stay curious.